Where am I going? I forget what I'm doing. All right, so let's start there. You guys can't see that. What the hell? Like you guys want to see the bird. Okay, where is the Windows Update System Display? Extend these displays. Show only one. Revert. Identify. So that's screen 2. Well, that's not helpful.
What notes have you taken?
Hey, now we're going to get someplace. Keep the change.
Like I was saying.
Cool. Some days I actually know how to use technology. Other days I have no idea. So where is everybody? Snowed out?
Maybe. It's crazy
Cool.
out there.
What is live recording? Other than Matt getting 400 and whatever stuff.
Spreadsheet's wrong.
My spreadsheet's wrong.
Yeah,
I
well,
can't be wrong. I just took the spreadsheet that I did and deleted out the numbers. So, wow.
Owen used the Rodriguez method to trap an error.
There's
I
a
got the right answer when he's charged.
Using the Rodriguez method.
Yeah, exactly. Trust prepared. That's exactly right.
So here's the master, and it came out with 4208, and I even brought the book that I stole the damn example from. And the book was 42483. Boy, that color really sucks in that. So, what's up? What can I do to make your life better?
Post that on Brightspace.
Only if you can actually make it over again for yourself.
Can you go to the final section there?
Hold on, I got a request to go up. But yes, I will go anywhere you want to help fix this thing. Would it be easier if I gave you something that was like 3 months long? Do it by hand.
I think this is fine.
Well, we can play with this more and more. It's not like you got to get it, but it's also literally, I hate to say this now, it's the first time you probably ever did bookkeeping. No? Ooh.
Well, then what's wrong?
Yeah, why didn't you get it? It's just income and expenses. It's a simple. What the hell, people?
Mine was a preferred job.
Enough engineers in here, you ought to be able to figure this out.
Not an engineer.
What they tell you, I told my girl the other day. I'll say it here too. You guys are training to be professionals. But don't forget to be professionals. Can you screw up? Yes. That's just a bunch of numbers in here. But I just gave you the spreadsheet. You know what I use.
like one?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of an issue with it. It's not like major. I just think there's a box.
Well, in hindsight, when I built the spreadsheet, it works when you put the numbers in, but it doesn't work when you're trying to fill in the blanks and know where to go. So that's really stupid. And then to make it even better, Mr. Todd, who actually worked out in the industry as a project manager, basically says, "Oh yeah, I got a software package that we used at High Stone from AIA, which is the Architects Institute of America." It's like, well, that'd have been nice to know. So we may come back to this. Other than Matt coming up with 400,000. The rest of you come close to this, I'll take a look at it, and we'll come up with a better way of doing it. But ultimately, you're going to have to keep books, but you're not going to, somebody's going to be looking over your shoulder. So I'm not really panicked that you didn't get it. More pissed off that the spreadsheet didn't work the way I was thinking it was.
Keep track is there.
Keep track is there. Where?
It's
Trapping the air is when you're out on the golf course doing survey, when there's a sand trap that you step into because you're not paying attention to it, and you drop the total station in the sand, that's trapping your air. It's as close as I can come up with for Rodriguez.
What about just like I found my error?
That's
Yeah.
trapping her.
It's a less professional way of saying it. But
Yeah.
I think he just doesn't like to use too many words.
He
doesn't.
All right. So has anybody else got any other headaches with this thing?
Any other?
Headaches with this stuff? That's a cool T-shirt.
Oh, I have about 5,000.
You're not even old enough to appreciate Pink Floyd.
That's not true. Have you heard Umagumma? Best album ever made.
Okay. That's my generation.
Okay, yeah.
Anyways, Matt's still looking.
I actually made my answer worse.
You got another trap there that you got to find. All right. Cool. I'll see what the numbers are. I'll be tolerant and not mean. Cool. We can get rid of you. Go back to you. I want you. And then we are moving on to the new world. Oops, I actually want some grids in here. And one of these days, I'm actually going to spend a little bit of time. And OneNote, you can actually set up grids for. So, amazing. All right. Did that. Did that. Did that. Variances, and I left my notes down in the office. Crap. I'll be right back. Maybe I can use it in here. Yeah, I can do it out of here. Not quite as nice as the notes I wrote up. All right. So one last thing to really finish in this chapter is risk management. You should always play the what-if game with risk management. What if I do this? What will happen? So if I decide to hire extra contractors and to get the work done faster, what's the penalty I'm going to pay? And you need to look at that. Not really a lot of good notes on this, but it's more of a series of things should be careful of. But the things you have with risk management that you're always going to come into is labor disputes. You know, the union goes on strike. How do you keep your job going? How do you? What's that? You meet their demands.
So you keep them from going on strike by suppressing their. Help me out
No.
The mob's coming in to take over.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew where you were going. Actually, oh boy. So labor relations is always something you need to consider. Okay, I don't know what the answer is. If you looked at the UPS, that's a big strike last fall, and not only did the Teamsters union get involved, but they got other unions involved, and that led to a few other unions getting some negotiations done for their benefits. It's usually not you as a entity, as the contractor who's running the job that's got to negotiate. It's usually something bigger. But you are going to get, well, you're going to get sucker punched by it. You'll get to a point where you have to make a decision. And the word that unions like to use is, do you hire scabs? Non-union people come and do the work. So you may have to, but you're going to wind up having pickets and protests outside the front gate when the trucks are trying to come in. So you got to deal with that. But that's something to think about as a risk manager. What happens if they do go on strike? How do we keep the job? Do you have enough wiggle room for a couple days? Maybe. And we play with the schedules here coming up from here for the next couple of weeks. You will see ways to rearrange schedules or to crash certain events to get them done sooner and eliminate some of that problem. So the risk management is one of those topics that you got to keep thinking about. So labor management is one big one. This is the big one hitting the world right now. Cost of products. I told you about French Hall, didn't I? Leading on the, that panel was actually sold to somebody else because they'd offer more money for it. And by the time we get it, it's supposed to be, I heard February 16th, so today, right? Funny thing is I've seen a few more trucks up there than I would have seen in the last 2 weeks. So maybe for a ride, but maybe didn't. If you're willing to pay for it, you can have it. But the other bit is think about just cost of things. Anybody try to look at buying a new car lately?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're practically insane. I'm literally at the point where I got a Toyota Camry that's 2010. Probably should have replaced it before the pandemic, or actually during the pandemic would have been the right time. But I thought, who the hell wants to go shopping for a car during the pandemic? Now I'm at the point it's like, really should buy it. I got 281,000 miles on it. And I've actually talked to Boydenbrook, and I said, so I just want to go to 300,000 now.
Oh, 200,000.
Why not?
So yeah, I'm literally, I like this car. You know, why do I want to replace it? When I don't have a car payment, and if I get a new one, I'm going to have a monthly payment of at least $500 at minimum right now, because the cost of the product has gone up. So if you budgeted your job for a low cost of rebar or electrical wire, don't get me started on copper wire. What's this roll of, this is no joke, this was 3 years ago. I looked at a roll of 250 feet of 12-2 wire was almost $180 a roll. And it's like $180 a roll. You used to buy 250 feet for like $30. But copper's becoming scarce, folks. So that's an issue. Right? So anyways, you got to look at those economic factors too to plan ahead for. So it's a risk management thing you have to think ahead for. Okay. So strikes, economic downturns and things. Okay, two other major important ones. Safety. You know, if you've ever been on a job site, anybody ever been on a job site? You always see someplace, right? There's a sign up, X number of days of safe work. Companies are really proud if it's over a year. Actually, some of them are proud if it's over a month. If it's over a month, you probably don't want to work there. The real trick is you want companies that have somewhere in the neighborhood of thousands of days of safe work. Okay. But what if you have an unsafe work condition that happens? I mean, accidents happen. Okay? Accidents happen because risk management says, okay, we put scaffolding up on the building to work off from, but we didn't understand what the soil condition was down below, and all of a sudden the soil caved up underneath it. Where's the scaffolding going? Into the building or away from the building? But it's going down. Okay. So what happens to people that are working up there? Well, you hope to God they were tied off to something solid. They're probably going to get hurt. They won't be dead when it comes out on them. Okay. So you got to think of those things. So when you're planning stuff, don't forget to plan for the safety stuff. Okay. And the other bit is, did anybody expect this snow out here today? And they planned us, but you know what I kept reading in the weather forecast? And I'm to the point of I'm not really sure that the National Weather Bureau actually understands where National Weather Service understands where the southeast corner of St. Lawrence County is. That's what they said that we get 3 inches of snow or more. Southeast, anybody know where it is? Holden, heading towards the top.
Yeah, the bustling metropolis.
Yeah. They should have gotten socked. I don't know. I woke up, there was 3 inches in the driveway. I made a decision, what the hell am I just on board? Let's hope it didn't melt. But probably not today or this weekend. But this is an interesting bit of snow. You know? And literally throughout the forecast today, it was supposed to be at 7 o'clock, 0.3 of an inch of snowfall, and then at 1 o'clock today, it's supposed to drop down to 0.1 of an inch. And then after 1 o'clock, basically stopped. I think somebody screwed it up. Okay. How do you work in this environment? You know, you're going to spend the day plowing the job site up, just get the trucks in. Then where are you at?
Just at that point, conditions like this, you just kind of
Instead of call stop work and hopefully put everybody inside the building and do things. But as you're working your schedules and you're thinking about the risk, how can you get all the outside work done so that you're inside dry when something like this happens? So, risk management. Make sense? Okay, so risk management is a big topic. There's probably 1,000 other things in risk management, but we're not going to get in depth in that. All right. Cool. Scheduling. And we can schedule in a lot of different ways. We already talked about production rates. So scheduling, that looks like a lousy G. So as we do scheduling, we are going to be really interested in how do we define this, okay? So we're going to be looking at things that are I didn't spell that right. What the hell does it matter with me? Okay. And basically what we're looking for in critical path is I don't want to use this word, so I should have brought my notes with me. A good word not to use the word critical. You never define something with the word itself. When I'm looking at critical path, I'm looking for the things that are essentially only work on that particular schedule. So, crucial pathways. Yeah, crucial. Okay. I'll spell that for me. Okay, spell that down. AL. Crucial. Crucially connected events or subpart
parts of the project. Okay.
A good example is this. We look at we want to put the building up. We got to put a foundation in the ground. Okay? We have to get a backhoe in there to dig up the foundation. Okay? Backhoe to do the digging, the crew to form the foundation up is critical before we decide to jump inside the building and do the sheetrock. Right? So we have to have that pathway done. That's a crucial event that has to happen in sequence and on its timeline. But here's a different one that's less crucial. I have the building up, and I got a choice between putting the windows in or doing the wiring. One affect the other?
Yeah, if you put the windows in first, you wouldn't have a cold building while you put the wiring in.
Yeah, okay, so that's human comfort. Yeah.
Yeah, people working at the same time, so no.
Right. They're parallel things, okay? And ideally, I'd like to do them both at the same time. So, yes, I'd like to try the room in and to make it warm for everybody to work there nicely. But you know what? People get paid to do what they do. Okay? Come prepared. But it would be nice if the windows were in, but it's not critical to the electricians pulling water. Right? Make sense? Mm-hmm. Now, having a warm building probably is critical to having water flow because we freeze pipes before we even insulate the building. That would be a critical thing. But pulling wires, that's another issue. Okay? You with me on that? Okay. Trying to think of some other good ones. Well, critical pathway would be I got to get the framing in before I put the sheetrock on. But before I put the sheetrock on, I need to have the wiring. Because we don't sheetrock and then go blow holes in the sheetrock to put the wiring in. So there's that sequence of events. That's critical pathway. Now, we will get to the point, I'll show you how to crush those systems down to make them faster and see what the impacts are. And what you're really going to have some fun doing is sorting out the days that you can crash a system. Okay, get things done. But right now, critical path is roughly how we're going to get there. Now, how do we know what the pathways are? So we're going to do this. We use bar charts. That's one way to do it. Okay. So let's do wall framing. Actually, sorry. Let's just do walls. And underneath that, we have framing. Then we have wiring, plumbing. Actually, I can start using plumbing, can't I, right now? Yeah. Then we got sheetrock, actually referred to as drywall. By the way, as long as we're talking about some materials here, sheetrock's been around for a very long time. Basically gypsum and laminated between two sheets of paper. Okay. That replaced plaster and lath. It's also heavier than hell when you try to get a 12-foot sheet, 4 feet wide, half-inch, or in commercial buildings, 5/8 inch thick, up on the ceiling. Okay. This is up people left and right. You make special lifts to do it, but you got to wheel a thing around. So they're actually coming out with some stuff that's going to replace sheetrock down the road, and you'll probably see it easily within your lifetime. A more lightweight sheet that can get put up quicker and only need 2 people instead of 3 or 4.
But do you know why buildings in Europe have their walls are mostly made out of brick and concrete versus our I've just always found that interesting because their walls are like literally
Yeah, so
this thick around.
regional differences in construction methods are applicable. The brick is traditionally European style of building. Okay? The bricks here in the U.S. were okay. Bricks have a tendency to be able to only go up about 2 stories when holding their own weight. Okay? It's the same reason why we don't put up concrete masonry blocks as a wall structure above grade lines and so forth. And the only place I've actually seen this, I'm a little baffled by it still, was a warehouse that I watched religiously down in Buffalo, in Chicago, where my son lived. Trying to figure out why it took them a year and a half to put this warehouse up, basically. They did it out of concrete masonry units. Right? It's a little 16-inch blocks, 8 inches high, 8 inches deep. And they stack these suckers 30 feet in the air. It's like, so you got to do a lot of extra support for that stuff.
Right.
Why they wanted that, I have no idea. I can see maybe the first 8 or 9 feet where people can run into things, but above that, why not use metal beams and columns and sheet, face the front off with sheet metal? No. They did it this way. It literally took me a year and a half to put this thing out. When I get done, it's like, first didn't know what it was. When I did figure out what it was a whole series of tractor trailers backed up to it. It's probably an Amazon distribution building, but still stupidly built. So Europe has a tendency of having masonry units that the way they build. Okay. It's the resources that are available. Europe is also deforested itself to a point that it doesn't have a lot of wood left to do that kind of stuff with. And steel requires basically getting iron from someplace and getting it in the country. And I don't know if I said this to you guys, but I said it to somebody in the last 9 months anyways. If I have said it to you, I apologize. But when I'm out west and I'm looking at construction projects going on out there, they use a lot of wood framing and in multiple stories. I mean, like 5-story buildings with wood framing. Not heard of when we used to saw things up into 2x4s and build things that way. They're not as sturdy. But with the advent of microlams and wooden trusses and the what's the word I'm looking for? It's the OSB plywood with the 2x4 top and bottom, so it's an I-beam basically, I-shaped. Not a truss, because a truss has the little 2x4.
They're web joists?
Yeah, for lack of a better name, we'll call them web joists. Okay, that stuff gives us the ability to do all kinds of different things that we couldn't do before. There are some of those floor structures that they literally danced an elephant on top of. And it's like, okay, that proves the point. Yeah, it's strong enough. I do the math. I believe it. I don't really care if you dance an elephant on some lumber, but if it helps the ad, sure. But the walls are still made of 2x4s, but it's because they have microlams, laminated beams basically as columns and beams, and they get away with it. That becomes a structural support. Why? Because the Northeast and West Coast has a lot of timber. Doesn't take much to make that stuff. East Coast is pretty much steel. You look at commercial buildings around here, they slap them up with steel metal framing and call it done. And then we don't do anything on the outside with wood because we don't have a lot of wood, nor do we have a lot of sawmills in the area that will make clapboards, for instance. So most of the Northeast uses vinyl siding on residential houses. Where 100 years ago, it was clapboards. Or some really special stuff called shiplap or coping, two different wood sidings. But commercially, look where we are here. Everything in Neville South here is all a poured concrete wall structure inside of concrete masonry insulated forms and sheet sheet metal on the outside. Protect it. It's quick, it's easy, it's done. It's durable. And if you go out west, you see a whole lot more wooden structures, a lot more panels that are wood, because it's built. Georgia Pacific is Georgia and Pacific Northwest, because Georgia still has a large southern yellow pine structures or forests, but the Northwest has fir and Douglas fir, pine, fir, all spruce. They have a lot of spruce out there, so they can make things. That's why it's regional. So, if you go to Mexico, you're going to find things with clay tiles for roof construction. Southern California is the same thing. Okay.
Sorry to get you off track.
Yeah. No, it's still all important because if you don't know it, you won't be able to deal with it down the road. Okay, so bar chart. So here's how we do this. So across the top of this thing, we're going to put in, let's say January. Okay, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way down to 31 days. Okay. We can play it February, but then we got a leap year this year, so I don't want to do that. How long do you need to do framing? Huh? Cool. Good answer. Depends on a lot of things. So the production rate numbers, looking up RS means will tell you how fast you can do some framing. Okay. So let's say, just out of curiosity or sake of the argument today, that the ability to do framing is actually, we start day 1 and we can go to day 5. So we can get the room framed in that we want to frame in. Okay. Now, wiring, plumbing, and drywall. And I kind of talked about this earlier with the critical path stuff. Wiring I can do for, let's say, a room this size. So this is that's 30 feet there between the columns and another 10 feet. So it's 40 feet deep and it's 30 feet wide. By the way, I do know that. If you are ever lost and you need to figure out the floor space, well, you take me shot. You got to suspend the ceiling 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet, so on down the line. Just count the ceiling. It works. It gets you the ballpark. But the other thing I do know about this building is every column in this building is 30 feet on center. That column to that column is 30 feet. That column to that column is 30 feet. And I can guess 10 feet, right? But if not, go buy yourself one of those little Bosch laser measures. It's the most accurate things I've seen. My father thought he was giving me a great gift one time. He gave me one of the ultrasonic measuring devices, stick it against the wall, send the echo to that wall, and have it come back. It was never accurate. It was cool, but never accurate.
How inaccurate?
By about half a foot.
That's still.
Yeah, but it still wasn't giving me, it was, use the laser Bosch that I have. I literally hit that back wall, give me, it's 40 feet and 3/8 of an inch. Cool. Who cares that? You might as well have something more precise. But anyway, so to do the wiring in this room, electricians, how long would you think it would take to do the wiring? Day and a half.
Maybe like 3-4 days.
So let's give you 4 days just to be on the safe side. So you really can't start until the framing's done. So let's go day 5 to day 8. Okay? Now, Braden, plumbing in this room. So we have literally 1, 2 sinks. Right? Yeah, sink there, and the drains that go with it.
Get this man a couple shirt plates, get it done in an hour.
Yeah.
No, you need the.
I don't know where the trains are getting ran to. Probably like 3-4 days to make it pretty.
3-4 days. So let's give you 5. Okay. So, here's the question. Can you do this at the same time the electricians are doing it?
Probably, if we're all nice.
You say no.
Isn't there code?
Well, I mean, I'd like to get in first.
Well, so that's one of the other things as a project manager. Everybody wants to be the first one on the job.
Everything's got to go downhill, though. What if they run a wire right in my way?
Can't like your electrical not be too
So,
close?
I'm going to cut their wire.
It sounds like
And there's one of the unforeseen risk management things you have to deal with. Why are you saying no?
Well, it's because doesn't your electrical and plumbing have to be a certain distance apart?
For the breaker box.
For the entrance panel, service panel, yeah, but running them down through there, no. You shouldn't have wiring that comes in anywhere near the water is planned out. So, he wants to know where the drains are going. Yeah, so do I. The plumbing engineers better done their job and pitched it right and got them all running the same way. The cool thing is that sink and that sink drain that way, but believe it or not, they actually have a pump underneath to pump it out. So there's a little catch tank underneath, and they pump it to where it's got to go. So you can do that. But having it run downhill, that's a whole other issue. But yeah, no, shouldn't usually be a problem. Okay. I'd have to go actually look the code up to see if it says that in there, but I don't think so. You know?
Oh, it's tough, man.
You guys found anything in the National Electric Code that you're aware of? No? Anything from the fire department you should be concerned about?
No, that's inspectors.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you said 5 days, right? Or 3 days, but we'll do 5. So what if we start you and go there? Okay. Then we got drywall. Drywall can't start until everybody's done in there. But here's another little thing we can put in the schedule that I didn't do. Okay. Whoops, let's not use the inspection. So literally the inspector, I'm going to put that in red for a minute. Go away. The inspector wants to come in after the wiring's done. And then we also want to have the plumbing inspected. Oops, too far. Okay. So okay. That's important to have done before the drywall is done. Now that gets me back to the drywall. Once we get the okay on the drywall, then we're literally over here someplace. Okay. So far, so good. That's a simple bar chart. What it does, it gives you a timeline. That's all it does. Okay? And this actually has a name. I always spell this wrong, so I'm hoping to God I get it right. This is called a I'm going to spell it wrong. 2 A's or 2 N's? I never.
What are we spelling?
Gantt. I think it's 2 T's, 2 N's. Okay, you guys are helpless. Just make it 2 of everything. We'll be better off. Hold on. Two T's. 1 N, 2 T's. It's called a Gantt chart. Okay. Now, the Gantt chart's cool, but it really is just a timeline and shows the steps that go with things. Now, a couple other things as long as we're having some fun here. When we're doing this, so framing literally can have, I'm going to go red. Framing can have an arrow down to here that connects it to that one. Okay? And then we can come down and do this. Okay? And then these two literally falling down here like so. Okay? What's the point of it? It shows you the pathway in your partner. Okay? Not the best way to make a decision on whether things should be moved around or not, but it gives you a nice visual so you can look at it and go, on January 8th, I should be having the electricians finishing up today. You walk around and go, why not? And I'll go, I don't know, coffee break? Then you can do something about it. Or on the 8th day of the month, you walk in there and go, why isn't the plumbing done? Well, because you got 5 more days or 3 more days for me to do it. Okay. But you can get a visual. Okay? And everybody on the job can have a visual. That's the benefit of it. Okay? So far, so good? Cool. Now, the other thing is these charts will get really big. They will go across the board. And sometimes it's nice to have the software come in here and write framing in here. Okay? And then this one is wiring. And this one is plumbing. Okay, so you can actually make notes of what little subtasks you think you're trying to do during that time frame. Okay, and put some more details. So it gets really complicated, and it's really only best done with software. And then is this piece of software I'm still trying to fight with to help them. This gets you guys to Microsoft Project. I'm not sure when we get to it. They have to come up with an alternative. But it's so good. I could go on for 5 minutes, but we're going to have to start it over again next on Monday. So I think that's where we're going to start. Cool.